From the Never Forget Who's Who studios of Arizona, we're live. The MMA-Holes.
Wonderful, wonderful.
How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to the show. We're here, we're live, we're wonderful, wonderful. My name is Chris, Mystic Moss, King of the Dragons. Got my yellow Carnage shirt on. It feels good, it feels sexy, it feels...
Wonderful, wonderful.
Brendan Schaub caught again. Stealing jokes. Costa versus Blachowicz. Rumblings that those two... Well, the UFC wanted to put those two together in a fight, and completely out of left field. We'll talk about that. What's next for Makhachev? We'll discuss Bilal Muhammad finally agreed to fight at 170 against Gilbert Burns. That's something to talk about. So much stuff to talk about tonight on the MMA-Holes live stream. We also have the fight night that's happened this weekend, Blaydes versus Pavlovich. So we'll discuss that as well. If you can do yourself a favor and hit that like button, that would be wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Also, crank it up, 1440 pp. Put it on there. Get the quality up on your streams. Unless you got, you know, that internet that doesn't work, it's fine as well. If you're not subscribed to this channel, subscribe to the channel. I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. We'll get right into it. We'll jump right into this thing. First off, I want to ask the chat, do you like to get high? Because CBDX.com is the way to do it. Go over to CBDX.com. Use promo code MMA-HOLES for 20% off. The finest in THC. Must be 21 plus or older, and you get a free gift on your first orders. Check it out. Check out last stream towards the end where Monica used CBDX, the Delta 9. For those of you that say you don't get high off of it, well, just listen to Monica and then get back to me, okay? CBDX.com, promo code MMA-HOLES for 20% off. MyBookie.ag, promo code MMA-HOLES for 100% match in your first deposit. Go check out MyBookie.ag. I just saw that our rollover's not there. I'm completely transparent with you guys. MyBookie's our sponsor. They funded us with cash. They gave us an outrageous rollover, you know, to play with their money. But the rollover's gone. So every penny that we play with on MyBookie, that's available to us. So now it really gets dicey. So MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code MMA-HOLES for 100% match on your first deposit. You're not going to get a crazy rollover with that. We do because they're our sponsor. But check them out. You could get a wire transfer. You could do a Bitcoin, whatever the hell works for you. But MyBookie.ag is how we place our bets. Head Rush. We got Head Rush coming up with XMMA. XMMA is going to be showing live MMA fights on this channel. Come on, baby. That's right. May 3rd. It's going to be a Wednesday night on this channel. We're going to be showing live fights. We're going to be doing commentary. It's going to be a great time. So get Head Rush. Check it out. Wear your Head Rush gear. 20% off. Promo code MMA-HOLES. The link's in the description. Use our promo code to get a discount on premium clothing. And I got my BMF underwear on from sheathunderwear.com. We have link in the description for Sheath Underwear. Use our promo code MMA-HOLES. for 20% off. And also ESPN Plus is how you could watch the UFC this weekend. So if you use our link in the description, we get a little kickback. Thank you to our sponsors. Let's go, champs. Okay, let's get right to it. Brendan Schaub steals jokes. This is nothing new, right? We've seen this before where comics have come up and some comic, Nick Swartzen, whatever the hell that guy's name is, addressed Brendan about this. This is not the first time this has happened, but it's the first time Brendan told a funny joke. Now, I know it's a childish joke. It's silly. It's goofy. It's topical. With Bud Light, you know, a lot of people are ripping on Bud Light because of the, you know, the controversial transgender on the beer or whatever. But Brendan made a joke about it, and I actually laughed. I actually thought it was pretty damn funny. I was like, wow, Brendan, all right. Yo, Brendan might be a comedian. This who knows? This actually hit with me. It's childish. It's stupid. It's right up my alley. And then I found out when I looked through the Twitter, I check out that people are like, no, Brendan stole it from TikTok. Brendan stole it from TikTok. I'm like, come on, bro. Did you really do it again? Like that's Joe Rogan, like, blasted Mencia back in the day. It was a whole thing. Like, it was a real legit thing. Like, Joe Rogan got on stage and was calling him out in this whole thing. Joe Rogan, Schaub's best friend. This is not the first time he's been caught doing this. Brendan Mencia. Why? Why is he doing this? Like, I just don't understand it. I know he's probably going to deny and say, well, what do you talk about? Like, when you're caught 10 times, eventually you got to fess up to it. Now, the Bruins are losing? What the? Come on! Let's go! Sorry, I'm a Ranger fan. Yeah, we need the Bruins out of there. Everyone in the NHL playoffs needs the Bruins out of there. And if you're from Boston, I apologize, but they're really good. So get them out of there. Anyway, so this is a really weird thing. Brendan has pivoted over from the UFC. He's pivoted over to comedy. And I know a lot of people are like, well, you're the MMA-Holes. Why do you talk about this? Because he's a UFC fighter doing comedy and stealing jokes. I have to talk about this. This is all over the freaking place. Now, we on the MMA-Holes, we do gags, we do cringe, we do silly stuff, we have silly songs. It's humor and MMA. That's what we do over here. We have a lot of fun with this stuff. So wouldn't it be great if there was a UFC fighter that's actually funny, cracking jokes, has a podcast, doing this whole thing? It would be fantastic, right? Well, wrong. That's not happening right now. Let's go check out PF Chang's. Let's go over to Chang's, okay? Let's go over to Chang's. If it was funny, you would know it wasn't Brendan's. Yeah, you would think I would have figured that out, but no, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I legit laughed. I even told my father the joke, and he was silent because I was joking around about gagging on. Well, all right, here we go. Let's just play this thing over here. He just dropped this thing on his IG. He literally like showcased this joke. Now, this is the tail end of the bit. I'm not going to show the whole bit. If you want to see it, go to Brendan Schaub's Instagram, and you can see the whole bit. I'm just going to show the joke he stole, okay? Which I don't even know if you want to call it a joke. It's just a funny little gag that he did, right? All right, so here's Brendan Schaub, all dicey on stage. We will get to the UFC talk. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll get to that stuff, but let's get this shit out of the way.
I like Bud Light. Like, dude, people are so homophobic. Like, oh, you're going to drink Bud Light, turn gay? Get it out of here.
Now, if you don't understand the joke, he's like, yo, why are people so homophobic if you drink Bud Light? Ha, ha, ha. And then shoves the fucking, he deep throats the Bud Light, right? Okay? Now, when I saw that live, I know it's a very silly, goofy, childish joke, gag, prop joke, Carrot Top-esque joke. But it made me laugh. Like, I didn't expect that. I was like, oh, okay, that's actually kind of funny. He's blowing the beer. Okay. I can dig that.
I don't see the problem with Bud Light, dude. I like Bud Light. Like, dude, people are so homophobic. Like, oh, you're going to drink Bud Light, turn gay? Get it out of here.
Now, this guy over here, Mr. Ginger Pants, this guy over here, I guess has a TikTok or something like that. I don't know if he's a comedian. I don't know what's going on. But apparently had a viral video of him doing this.
So everybody's been fucking saying, dude, that Bud Light sponsored a tranny or some shit, dude. And apparently it makes you gay. I'm like, the fuck, man? Been drinking Bud Light for fucking years, man. And I don't see how it makes you gay.
And he's he's gagging on the Bud Light. It's not the first time we've seen something like this. Now, I would imagine that he's probably ripped off comics, right? And he's like, okay, well, I can't do this anymore. Who would know if I'm ripping off someone on TikTok? This guy over here, no one knows. Everyone's like, who the fuck is this guy, right?
Who the fuck is that guy?
No one can figure that out. It's the literal, it's like the anchor of his joke. Like he finishes the bit with deep throating the beer, right? It's like the meat of the, it's like, that's the joke, right? That's where he's working his way to get to that point. I want to know in the chat what you think. Is this joke thievery? Are we making too much out of this? Like, what's going on over here? How does Brendan Schaub keep on getting away with this stuff? And how does the community of comedians, How do they put up with this nonsense? I mean, it's pretty freaking crazy.
I don't see the problem with Bud Light, dude. I love Bud Light. Like, dude, people are so homophobic.
I think I just enjoy watching him fucking deep throat a beer.
Like, oh, you're gonna drink Bud Light, turn gay? Get it out of here.
Who told the joke better? That's cool. This channel is so dedicated to Brendan the GOAT. He is the GOAT. He's the GOAT of stealing jokes. I do trans if she was good and looked the way. Okay. It's not well executed joke by either guy. Well, I gotta be honest. I laughed. I did laugh, and I would have laughed at the ginger bearded guy because you don't expect it. It's like slapstick, goofball, childish humor. Joke stealer Rogan is a gatekeeper, a troll at the gate. Why is it? When is Rogan going to say something about this? The guy that executed Charles Mencia. Sucking a bottle or a can is just an inappropriate joke. Brendan gets a pass. Okay, all right. So we got someone in the chat, Kainoto, who usually likes to cancel people. You mean to tell me? You mean to tell me that came from his brain? Because I know it's a very childish thing, right? But I have to be honest with you. I don't see that coming from his brain. Maybe I'm wrong. Replay the joke, please. Just got here. Okay, you got it. I'm a man of the people. You got it. People want to see the joke. You get it. Now, if Brendan Schaub, who says he doesn't do podcasts anymore, meanwhile, he just did a podcast recently. If Brendan Schaub would just address this, right? And say, hey, okay. I saw the TikTok. It was kind of funny. I added it to my bit. Okay. You know? But you know what he's going to do.
I don't see the problem with Bud Light, dude. I love Bud Light. Like, dude, people are so homophobic. Like, oh, you're gonna drink Bud Light, turn gay? Get it out of here.
The crowd got a good laugh. The crowd liked it. I laughed. Now, people aren't going to laugh now, you know, because we're already saying, oh, he stole the joke, blah, blah, blah. Kind of ruins the joke, right? But I got to be honest with you. When I saw it in real time, I laughed. Now, look at this clown. This is the originator of the joke.
So everybody's been fucking saying, dude, that Bud Light sponsored a tranny or some shit, dude. And apparently it makes you gay. I'm like, the fuck, man? Been drinking Bud Light for fucking years, man. And I don't see how it makes you gay.
So I think the original guy is better. And the reason why I think the original guy is better is because it cuts off, right? It's him, like, he gags, it cuts off, it's done. Brendan goes the extra mile and just keeps on fucking shoving it down his throat. Makes the beer spill all over the place. Now it's original, right? Now it's original. The funny part is, if we weren't calling him out for this, he would literally be traveling from city to city, shoving a beer bottle in his throat, completing the joke. like we might be helping Brendan here. We might be helping him. Maybe he doesn't have to tell his fucking joke anymore. There it is. I knew a dude that drank them like like that in high school. He must have been a hit of the party. I'm a stuntman. He's such a loser. There's no supposed to film. They're not supposed to film. Is that what you're saying? Ed already? What the hell? He bombed trying to do the TikTok bit live. Well, he did get a pretty good laugh out of it. And he clipped it on his Instagram, which makes it worse. He took it, he put it on his Instagram. And like made this like one of the notable moments of the bit. I mean, the actual thumbnail, the actual picture to click on his Instagram, same as what we use as well, because very clickable, Brendan Schaub blowing a beer. Like, that moment, I mean, this bit over here, what, maybe 2-3 minutes, I don't know, that he put on Instagram, he put that moment on there. I don't know, man. I tell you, I was talking to Jess about this, and jokes, being a comedian now has got to be terrible because every joke has been told. Like, you got to think every comedian has to take a situation and try to take another joke that someone's told already and make it unique. Everything has been said. Everything has been done. You just take a moment in time, like something happens. Now you make Bud Light, you know, the gay people, you make a joke about that. This joke has probably been used a gazillion times, right? Like, how many times have you been horsing around with your friends and you pretend you're fucking deep throating something? Like, when I was in high school, those are the jokes that we would make, right? So the joke is not like revolutionary. It's not the greatest joke of all time. If you're going to steal the joke, you have to find a way to disguise it best as possible. You got to make it really damn funny or just put a nice spin or a twist on it. So you put your signature on that joke. This over here, he basically fucking copied the guy, just went a little bit longer with the deep throat. And then he made it the actual feature, the featured moment of the actual video, the clip. I don't know. Like, I would love to know, and this is not the only joke he's stolen. He's stolen jokes verbatim, word for word, from other comedians out there. It's such a weird phenomenon. But hey, man, he's still on tour. He's still doing his thing. And stealing jokes or no, I mean, he's still going forward, trucking forward, you know, through the trenches. This man is relentless. He is a relentless comedian. I want to know in the chat, do you think this guy can keep the party going? I mean, people are talking about him. Maybe he's stealing jokes on purpose. Maybe this is purposely placed there so everyone can fucking clip it, make videos of it, and do all that stuff. Let me know in the chat. We got some alerts here. Let's play them.
Wonderful, wonderful.
A whole bunch of people thought of the same crude juvenile jokes at the same time. Sucking a bottle is as basic a gay joke as it gets. Brendan is capable of such a basic joke. Cancel this.
Okay.
Middle finger.
So it seems like Kai Noto's fine with it. What about the other jokes that he's stolen? The Nick Swartzen jokes, word for word, verbatim. Like, it's not the first time he's done that. This is the thing. If this, I would agree with you, if this was the first thing and people are trying to cancel Brendan Schaub because this was the first joke that he stole, I would be like, guys, you're crazy. I would say exactly what Kai Noto said over there. I'd be like, dude, this is silly. This is stupid. This is about the fifth time. The fifth time he's been doing this, probably more. I don't know how many times he stole jokes. I have no idea. I don't fucking watch his stand-up. But every time I turn around, someone clips something of him stealing jokes. Comedians dropping in his comment section saying he stole these jokes. That's what I'm talking about.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Most these gay jokes are as basic as they get, but the delivery is what makes them more funny than the next. Speaking of gay, damn Sausage just realized he's been sticking them into his body at the wrong end.
Ooh, okay. Thank you, Kai Noto. Appreciate that. Now, I'm not going to spend the whole damn show talking about Brendan Schaub deep-throating a beer. I'm not trying to cancel the guy. What I'm trying to do, like previous times when we've spoken about Brendan Schaub, I'm trying to maybe knock some fucking sense into the guy. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if enough people do videos on this or enough people slide to his mention saying, bro, stop stealing jokes, maybe he would stop. It's probably not going to happen. He's probably going to continue doing it and denying it. And the people, I guess, are going to pay money to go to, I don't know if what he does with his comedy acts. I don't know who goes to his comedy. Is anyone in the chat, let me ask, is anyone in the chat, I'm a Brendan Schaub fan. Let me know if you're a fan, and let's get the other side of the story. Because I'm not just talking about this instance here. This is this is a repetitive thing by the guy. On top of all the other things that people are, you know, I'm not here to completely light him on fire with all the other nonsense that he does. Listen, he's a famous guy. He's able to have podcasts. He's able to tour around and do these things. So good on him for that. I'm just trying to figure out, why is he stealing jokes? He don't have to. He doesn't have to. He could do his own skits and bits. Here we go. We got a little bit. Let me put the chat in over here. I see Bro Platter and actually a comedian in the chat. Let's find out what the actual comedian says in the chat. Schaub stole a joke. Oh boy, it looks like he trains at Carlos Mencio's dojo. There we go. Okay, there it is. There we go. See, he took the Mencio joke. He put his own spin on it. He made it his. I don't like him as a fighter, comedian, or person. Mas, what's up? How you doing, Junior? How you doing? What's up, Chris? Up? How you doing? Whatever shit takes. I was a Brendan Schaub fan 7 years ago, but not so much lately. Listen, when he was in the UFC, he was a decent fighter. I actually liked him in the UFC. I didn't hate him. He was known as the guy from The Ultimate Fighter, the guy that went in there and banged Ronda and Crow Cop. Other than that, and got knocked out by Ben Rothwell. But still, I mean, Brendan Schaub was a decent fighter. Like, he was actually kind of fun to watch, you know? But then he started doing a lot of these podcasts. I never listened to The Fighter and the Kid. It wasn't my cup of tea. So I'm not educated on that. And I think what happened was he probably had a lot of Fighter and the Kid fans, you know, that listened to his podcast. And then after a while, they're like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I send Brendan money every month About half my paycheck. All right, good for you. We should cut off a finger to teach Schaub a lesson. All right? He wasn't telling terrible jokes in the UFC. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess not in public. I will celebrate his future dramatic death. A fat guy beat him for tough. I don't even. It was Rampage. Who was the coaches on that tough? It was Rampage and who was the other one? Was it Rashad? I think it was Rampage and Rashad. He's really not funny. I was a fan of the guy in the UFC, but he became a comic because of Rogan. Yeah. So listen, he's coming out and saying that he wants to, like, his dream is to be on SNL, and he always wanted to be a comedian and all this stuff. Meanwhile, there was a dramatic moment on the podcast with Rogan where Rogan sat him down and said, hey, man, I think you should stop this. Your time has passed. You're going to get brain damage. I love you as a, you're my buddy. You're this, you're that. You need to hang it up. He publicly humiliated Schaub to try to get it through his thick 3C's skull. Then all of a sudden, miraculously, Schaub wanted to be a comedian? His whole life? What? So you mean to tell me, football player, UFC, but I really want to be on SNL? What? Is that... What? Now, maybe, possible. I mean, you got Limp Bizkit, wanted to direct movies, Fred Durst, but he was told that making music is the way to go, so he became Mr. Limp Bizkit. Maybe when he was a kid, he always wanted to be a comedian. I don't know. But it's weird how you were, a football player, a UFC fighter, you wanted to continue fighting in the UFC. A comedian told you to stop, and now all of a sudden your dream was to be on SNL. Like, it's what? It's a really strange phenomenon, Brendan. But we know people that know Brendan and say he's actually a very nice guy. He gets unnecessary criticism. So I'm not trying to criticize the guy as a person. I'm not trying to bury the guy. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is say, stop stealing fucking jokes. Like, what are you doing? Why are we doing this? When people have a microscope on you in this Fighter and the Kid subreddit, why in the world would you even come close to stealing a joke? Makes no fucking sense. He's too much of a meathead for SNL cast. No way he'd make it. Yeah, imagine if Schaub hits SNL, there's going to be a lot of angry people. There's going to be 200,000 people on that Reddit that's going to fucking blow their mind. They're going to lose their mind. Anyway, I don't have really much more to say about Schaub. I have a lot to say about other stuff, but final comments in the chat. We got Kainoto coming in.
Brendan definitely steals other good comedians' jokes. There's no debate. I'm just talking about this bottle joke. Damn Sausage has been drinking Budweisers for quite some time now. Can't use gag jokes on Sausage. He's got no gag reflex.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I think the reason why I'm talking about tonight, there's not many people making a big deal about this. I mean, there are people on Twitter, roasting him, and the comedian or the person that actually said it on TikTok, apparently said something about it. So there are people talking about it. It's not the biggest story in the world. But what bothers me, this actually really did bother me. I watched the video and laughed. I was like, oh, that's actually, Brendan, he might be coming around here. Like, he might actually pull this off. He's still relatively young in the game of comedy, right? I'm sure a lot of comedians, when they've done it for a couple of years, they're not doing comedy specials and all this crazy stuff. They're in the trenches, right? They're honing their craft. Then eventually, this fucking knucklehead, he's like, put me under a microscope while I'm training to be a comic. It's wild. And I laughed and I was like, holy smokes, this guy, he put something together that was actually kind of funny. And then you find out he stole that too. It's like, dude, man. It's incredibly frustrating to consume Brendan Schaub content. That's why I don't do it. Only in passing. And of course, I passed across this. I have nothing else to say. I really have nothing else to say. It's a dumb fucking topic. It's stupid. Stop stealing jokes, you knucklehead, okay? Final comments in the chat, and then we move on to the actual UFC content. He stole Nick Swartzen's joke. Holy fuck. Yeah, Nick called him out on it. I think on a podcast, he literally confronted him about it. Like, word for word. Yeah, if you go down that rabbit hole, go on the Fighter and the Kid subreddit. Like, you'll be, I mean, they got a lot of, they're a little crazy over there. They're a little out of control with their stuff, with their obsession with Brendan. But the shit they catch him doing is nuts. Brendan material doesn't get better with age. I know Joe Rogan from a show called The List on VH1. Let's see. Don't be gay, Ray. I stopped drinking water, and now I drink only Tiger Thick. I want to try out this Tiger Thick whiskey. I like whiskey. I want to try it out, man. Listen, I'm a big Conor McGregor fan, and Proper 12 is not good. It's just not. By the way, since Easter, true story, haven't had dessert ever since Easter. Come on, champs. That's it. I'm going to see how far I can go. No donuts, no cake, no cookies, no ice cream. Still going strong. Today, I had dinner and an apple. That was my dessert, and I feel great. I feel amazing. So let's keep the party going. Let's keep the experiment moving forward. And if anything, maybe you could take from this yourself. Try to live a healthy life, guys. You only get one time. You only get one time doing this, all right? So I'm going to do this experiment on myself, see what happens. Apparently, my life will be extended if I stop eating sugar. So we'll see if that works. All right. We're going to move into another story over here. Costa versus Blachowicz, which completely threw me off guard. But apparently the UFC was actually seriously talking about this. So let's talk about it. First off, let me ask you in the chat, is this something you would be interested in? And I'm sure your first question would be, well, at what weight class? Like, what is Costa going up? Makes sense. He has trouble hitting middleweight. Is he gonna? He just signed with the UFC. Is he going up? Is Blachowicz actually gonna go down? And if he does go down, is he fucking with Izzy? He beat him at light heavyweight, and he's gonna go down and chase him and get his belt over there. Another villain for Israel Adesanya. Yes. Like, when I was thinking about that, I'm like, if Blachowicz could make middleweight, a skinny Polish guy, fighting Israel Adesanya over there, I am interested. Things got just incredibly interesting. And it looks like that was what the UFC was trying to do. Kind of throwing a curveball at us and saying, hey, guys, what do you think about Paulo Costa versus Jan Blachowicz at middleweight? Let me pull this up over here. I tried to get Cody Durden on last second tonight because he's got a fight next weekend. We'll talk to him soon, but he's over at American Top Team now in Florida. Top Team in Florida. He's got a big fight coming up. We'll drag him on the show. Super cool dude. All right, here we go. So he pinned this 8 hours ago. I don't like to say somebody is ducking me or this kind of stuff. Maybe he's injured or fatty than me. I really don't know. He should has his reasons. I just know Fat Paulo is ready to go in May 6th. It's a perfect match. Don't need to cut too much weight. I'm in all day. Okay? So May 6th pay-per-view event is in trouble. Jan Blachowicz versus Costa could be the salvation. I go up to 205, says Paulo Costa. Old juice, let me know. And then Abs come back to fight Gourmet Chen at October. No worries. Okay? So he says that's pinned. And then you go over to Jan's Twitter. I wouldn't mind seeing Paulo go up. I really wouldn't. I mean, you got Pereira going up. You got Paulo, who has trouble making weight. So Paulo says, so a few days, Borchina MMA got offered to fight me. I've said yes. He said no, the fight is off. How much juice does he need? One bottle of wine is enough to knock out this guy. So it looks like they were looking for 205. Okay, so Jan not going down to middleweight. It looks like they're thinking about doing this at 205 and Paulo going up in weight, and no controversy with him, hitting the scales and people sweating. And it's like Paulo's going to make this thing. So Jan is saying that he was offered the fight and Paulo declined. Paulo has a different story over here. My questions to you in the chat, is this something that you're interested in? Would you be interested in Paulo Costa moving up, fighting Jan Blachowicz? Is Paulo Costa ducking Jan Blachowicz? Are there steroids involved in the situation? Or just stay in your fucking weight class, both guys, and fight the guys ranked around you? Let me know in the chat. Paulo been calling him out all day. Jan be lying, says, well, damn sausage, you a little biased. You like that Paulo sausage? Yes, let's do it. Florida, Boston got fights at end. Let me know the final score of that, Florida versus Boston, if we're still alive, because we need Boston out of there. Yeah, Jan needs to stay up there. Polish Power versus Secret Juice. I don't know, man. I'm always down for the Blachowicz train to come to town. A double knockout would satisfy me, Mas. There's Nate Diaz. Little Seal's laughing. If it's old Costa that shows up, it might be a good scrap. Excuse me. Let me say this. I don't know why I said strap. I got gay things on my mind. Let me just say this, guys. Paulo Costa is a very fun guy on Twitter. Paulo Costa versus Yoel Romero, one of the most exciting fights of all time. Like, if you're thinking best fights of all time, you could legitimately insert Paulo Costa versus Yoel Romero. If you haven't seen it, or if you forgot how that fight went down, run it back. Such a good, entertaining, exciting fight. So yes, Paulo Costa could put on a good performance and delight people. He's very exciting to watch fight. With that being said, I think Paulo Costa is heavily overrated. Like, extremely overrated. And Paulo Costa moving up to fight at 205 would be a massive problem. Massive problem. I think he should stay put where he is because he's still not the best middleweight. And if he packs on more muscle and has an easier weight cut going at 205, I think these guys are going to murder him. I really do. And I understand a lot of people like Costa, but I am the guy that when Costa was up to fight Izzy, I was like, bro, check his record. Check Paulo's record. I know he's undefeated. I know he looks like a Lou Ferrigno had a baby with Ricky Martin. I get it. I get it. He's a good-looking guy. I get it. And now he's fun. Like, he's fun on Twitter. He learned the language. He's a funny guy. I get it. But let's not get blinded by the fact that Paulo Costa is a gatekeeper. That's all he is in both divisions. That's all he is. Now, a fight against Jan Blachowicz is fascinating. Blachowicz will murder him. He will. I know Blachowicz is he's like 40 years old now, but I feel Blachowicz just got too much. He got too much going on here. Is Paulo going to knock him out? What's going to happen? Let's be real, Matt W. That is the real stuff. So if I were to advise Paulo Costa, I would say, hey, man, you're right. Stay in your weight class. Don't take the fucking fight. Don't move up. Don't do it. Find a way to get back in there with Izzy and shock the world. Because the last time you were there with Izzy, he butt-fucked you. He legit butt-fucked you. The Vettori fight, right? Think about it. Paulo Costa's fun. He's exciting. But is he really that good is the question. Final comments on the chat. We move forward because there's plenty of stories to get to. He is big in his weight class. Ryan Kills. Brah. Paulo Costa cuts a lot of weight. A lot to get to at 185. You don't know how he would be at 205. I know he's not going to win a championship over there. I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm trying to think, like, which guy here. Let's find a path to a 205 belt for Paulo Costa, because I do like to play this game. Okay, we'll go to the UFC website. We'll go to the ranking system. I mean, anything is possible. It's why we watch, right? It's why we watch. Anything is possible. But when it comes to Paulo Costa, like, he's in this weird limbo state. He is okay. Where is he? Paulo Costa. He's number 5 in middleweight right now, with Cannonier, Vettori, Robert Whittaker, Alex Pereira, who's moving up, and then you got Izzy as the champion. You look at Yuri Prohaska versus Paulo Costa. What do you think happens there? I disagree. He was undefeated when he lost to Adesanya. Now he's a gatekeeper. Grimace, you have a terrible memory. You have a terrible, terrible memory, my friend. The question is, right, here we go. I remember this very clear because I was arguing with the community before the Izzy fight. I went through his resume, and I'm like, what did he do before that makes you think he's going to beat Adesanya? I literally had that argument. You can go back to those streams, and you can see me arguing with the chat about this because people were sucking this guy's dick. Yoel Romero was the peak, no doubt. No doubt. But Yoel Romero still is and people say Yoel won that fight, by the way. I know it's a unanimous decision. Go back and watch it. You could make an argument that Romero won that fight. That was a nutty, crazy fight between the two. That's where he peaked over there. But Uriah Hall? Dude, Uriah Hall? Talk about someone that didn't pan out. Johnny Hendricks, Big Rig, the 170 champion, who was a fucking steroid cheat. And then for some reason, the UFC said, yeah, let's make Johnny Hendricks versus Paulo Costa. Let's kill Johnny Hendricks. Bang Bosa. What the? Who the
fuck is that guy?
Garrett McClure.
Who the fuck is that guy?
What? And then jungle fights before that. This was the resume that people were all over Paulo Costa. This was the resume saying he was going to beat Adesanya. And I was like, you guys are fucking crazy. I'm far from an Izzy dick rider, but I knew enough that Izzy was going to fucking butt fuck this dude. He lost to Adesanya. He lost to Marvin Vettori, who can't even come close to beating Izzy, just hugs and holds and gets battered like a punching bag against Izzy. Then he beats an old man Luke Rockhold. That was, I mean, listen, that was a fucking fun, crazy fight. I enjoyed it very much. But let's be serious. Luke Rockhold's best days are far, far behind him. The champion Luke Rockhold did not fight Paulo Costa. This is a guy that was on the shelf for a while. Dude smoking weed in camp. It's crazy Luke. So you mean to tell me that Paulo Costa is going to move up and beat Jan Blachowicz? How? How is that going to happen? He's going to beat Yuri Prohaska? How? He's going to beat Jamal Hill? No. How? He's going to beat Magomed Ankalaev? How? I don't even think he could beat Rakic. I got to be honest with you. Anthony Smith probably beats Paulo Costa. I said it. If you're going to bring Paulo Costa into that weight class, you have him fight Johnny Walker. That's who you have him fight. That's who you have him fight. And when Johnny knocks him the fuck out at number 7, you send him back down to middleweight. Come on, guys. Listen, I like Paulo Costa. I'm not trying to be shitting on the man. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to shit on Brendan Schaub. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to put some fucking sense into people's heads. You just want to see more muscles. That's it. You want to see him go up and have more muscles and be more attractive. You also clearly want to see Paulo Costa lose. Worse. It's a fight, anything's possible. Okay. Let me know how that works when he moves up. My job here is to bring my crystal ball, my mysticalness, and put some sense into you guys. Because I don't want you guys putting money on Paulo Costa and just losing your money. I don't want that to happen. I think the reason why Paulo turned down the fight is because he realizes that if he goes up, it's going to be a massive problem. Costa's a one-dimensional fighter. Yes, he is. Like he's got grappling. He's strong. He's got power. But he's not one-dimensional. But what is he really good at? Like, what is the one thing Paulo Costa is really good at? Is there anything he's really good at? Like, what do you look out for besides his brute strength? Now, a Strickland versus Paulo Costa is interesting. He didn't turn down Jan lying. I tell you what, if Paulo Costa wasn't involved with a lot of turning down of fights, which he has been involved in a lot of that stuff, I would say, okay, give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, how many times has Paulo Costa said, yeah, I'll fight that guy, and then next thing you know, no, I'm not going to fight that guy? This happened like 4 times. And you know what? It's not stupid. Like, he's a smart man. He's not dumb. He realizes, wait. Maybe I shouldn't fight this person. And it worked. He got an extended contract, got more money. He's not dumb. This guy's not a dumb dude. He knows what he is capable of. And he knows what could be possibly a problem for him. I'm sure he thinks he could beat anyone. He's a fighter, right? I'm sure he's not scared of anyone. But he's not stupid. He would be very stupid moving up and getting battered by Jan Blachowicz, by a guy that's 40 years old. It just wouldn't be a good look. Let me know in the chat, though, who do you think Paulo beats if he does make the move up to 205? Like, I mean, I guess you could make the argument for Smith. I don't think he beats Krylov. But I still think, honestly, I'm not even a big Anthony Smith guy, and I think Anthony Smith beats Paulo Costa. I really do. Anthony Smith, he beats those guys.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Ninja choke.
A middleweight bout between Chris Curtis and Nassourdine Imavov is being targeted for UFC 289 in June. So 289 is building up slowly.
That's right. Yeah, that story was dropped not too far before we went live, and it's actually pretty funny. We got it on Discord news. Thank you, Sonosi, for the donation. Appreciate it. Let's pivot. I shoved down your throat that I think Paulo Costa is incredibly overrated and should stay at middleweight. I would love to see Paulo Costa fight Sean Strickland. I know Sean was barking about that. I would love to see that fight. Could you imagine if Sean Strickland goes in there and outpoints Paulo Costa for 3, or if it's a main event 5 rounds? How does that make Paulo look? And then people are going to say that he's going to go up and win at 205? It's a great fight, though. It's fun. Paulo Costa versus Sean Strickland. We're going to have to make that happen. Let's move over to Chris Curtis. And thank you guys for the donations. Really appreciate that. Thank you for the likes. And we're getting closer to our goal over here. Muchos gracias. We have a lot of stories to get to. We spoke about Schaub. We spoke about Costa versus Blachowicz. And now let's roll into Chris Curtis. Fighting a guy. This is not the first time this has happened, too. He's fighting a guy that his boy beat. Why is Discord not opening? Here we go. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Turn this off. Notifications. There we go. Okay. Here it is. UFC finalizing Chris Curtis versus Nassourdine Imavov at UFC 289. 289 is coming around. Let's look at like exactly what we have here in UFC 289. Events, UFC. 299. Yeah, let me just do this. UFC 289. It's bad that, like, I wish the UFC website would just put these things together. Like, they'll put Nunes versus Pena, and then that's it. Tapology is the best so far. Okay, so you got Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena. Okay, that's the main event over there. A lot of people are shitting on it. I got to be honest with you, like, Juliana Pena is so crazy. Like, she's probably fantastic in bed. Think about it. Juliana Pena is probably a freak because she is a crazy bitch, man. Juliana Pena is nuts. And she's not terrible on the eyes, right? Juliana Pena is saying that she's going to come back and do naughty things to Amanda Nunes. She's going to do whatever she can to sell the fight. Realistically, they are a 1-1, right? So you could make the argument. She's going to be a massive underdog, whatever. She did finish Amanda in the first one. Normal people know that what Amanda did in that first one compared to the second one, that wasn't the same human being. So we pretty much know what's going to happen in that fight, but you never know, right? Like Juliana Pena, like people were saying previously, it's a fight, you never know. Let's go with that. Co-main event, Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush. This got moved over because something happened with Charles. And Benny is saying basically if he wins this, he should get a title shot against Islam Makhachev. Okay. On paper, the co-main event, very interesting. Fascinating fight between the two. Does it move the needle? No. Does it get casual fans involved? No. But Charles Oliveira is always exciting. And Benny is a guy that's he just doesn't fucking lose lately. I don't know what's going on with Benny. He's just got that it factor. So let's see what Benny and Charles do there. Dan Ige versus Landwehr. Okay. That's like a matchup that I didn't really expect. But Landwehr is on a 3-fight win streak. Klein, Onama, and Lingo. Talk about a massive step up. Dan Ige is about to go 2 in a row. Stephen Thompson versus Michel Pereira. Okay. Talk about a guy in Michel Pereira that was just a joke. Like just a goofball, stupid moves joke You know, like he was goofy. Jesse, I don't know if she turned around on the guy, but it was just like this novelty act. Now he is on, after the Diego Sanchez fight, which is an illegal knee, so whatever. But you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. Ponzi, Fiallo, Nico Price, Chaos Williams, how do you say this guy's name? Zalim Imadaev, whoever this guy is, I don't fucking know. But the other guys, those are notable guys that he beat. My man Pereira is on a roll. This guy's got electric striking. You got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson coming off of Kevin Holland. Really fun fight. Really fun fight. Yeah, I tell you what, Canada is looking pretty good. And then you got Imavov versus Curtis on this card. So finally, Chris Curtis will get back on the main card. It's going to be interesting because the short notice fight against Sean Strickland that happened, a unanimous decision for Sean Strickland. And I have to be honest with you, I was very impressed by Sean. I really was. Coming off the couch, I wasn't sure if Sean was going to be able to pull it off, and he went in there and outpointed. That's what Sean does best. He goes in there, pitter-patter. I'm going to take the judges, other than a Cannonier fight. But in this fight over here, he stopped a kid that had hype behind him and didn't stop him, defeated him on points. So now Chris Curtis has the secret sauce. He could bounce back and utilize this guy as a stepping stone to be right back into the mix again. Chris can't lose this fight. Imavov can't lose this fight. Both of these guys need this fight in very different ways, but they both need it a lot. The loser of this fight is not going to be happy. This fight over here, like, Chris is probably going to have a temper tantrum if he loses. If he loses this fight, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near Chris Curtis. He's going to lose his shit. You better take away his password for Twitter. You better, I don't know, take his keys away, take all the booze away. My man is going to fucking lose his mind if he loses this fight. And if Imavov loses this fight, where is he sitting? Yeah, I see Imavov's going to lose his ranking. Where is Imavov on the ranking? Imavov is 12. Curtis 15, Imavov's 12. You got Brandon Allen, you got Muniz. Yeah. Yeah, loser loses their ranking. Most likely. Or you could probably have a swap. Yeah, you could probably do a swap. Actually, Imavov, it hurts for him, but he probably just drops a couple of steps. Chris Curtis can't lose his fight. He can't. 35 years old, coming off a very close loss. A Kelvin getting catapulted up to 11. Chris is not happy about that. Yeah, Chris can't lose his fight. Dude, Chris would lose his shit if he loses this thing. I got to be honest with you. Like, Chris is probably going to be an underdog in this thing. And my money is going to go with the action man. But, Imavov is a scary dude. Heinisch, Shabazian, Buckley. All right. You know what? Yeah, I really like Curtis in this fight. He lost to Phil Hawes, who Curtis knocked out, right? Right? Didn't he knock out Hawes? Wasn't Hawes? Yeah, I'm almost positive he did knock out. Wasn't Hawes? Yeah. Yeah, knocked out Hawes. That was the first fight after XMA. Knocked out Allen. Listen, Chris Curtis should be actually, Chris will probably be the favorite. Good fight, though. Good fight. Anytime Chris follows Sean Strickland, he usually gets the dub. If Chris loses this thing, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. You got Sudovicius versus Maverick. Yeah, this card's turning out. It's weird because it peaks at Nunes versus Pena. But like I said, Pena's such a freaking head case. She's going to do enough in the interviews. She's going to be so cringy at the media scrum and the press conference. She'll sell it. She'll sell it enough. I don't know if it's quite worth, that's a pay-per-view worthy, $85 worth main event. But the other fights on the card are turning around. So, yeah, the UFC's listened to the fans. That's one thing you got to say about the UFC, man. There were years before where they would just leave the card as is. They are actively trying to put shit together and fix things. So UFC 289 coming around. UFC 288. UFC 288. Let's see what they're doing with this, because this situation, this is a little pivot into another story. Now, they are really starving for a co-main event. You can't do the Andrade versus Jan. I'm sorry. You just can't. You can't do that. Can't do that to Jersey. This desperate for a co-main event. And it looks like there was a bunch of fights thrown in here, all revolving around the new GOAT, Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns did a lot of people a favor that are not Masvidal fans. He took him out. He says, all right, Jorge, go retire. I'm going to go dance with my kids, do a Fortnite dance, and send you to your retirement party. So Gilbert Burns does that. He's calling everyone out. He's like, let's go, let's dance. He calls out Bilal Muhammad. He calls out Dustin Poirier. Dustin says, hey, pay me, I'll fight you. And then Bilal says, I can't make weight for the fight. But just recently, get out of here, pal. Just recently, Bilal puts out this. Bully puts out this. Check it out. Check it out. Bilal Muhammad. Oh, this is fucking Booger Beard. Fucking Booger Beard. What are you doing, bro? Sucking everyone's dick. Like literally, Booger Beard is sucking everyone's dick. All right, so here we go. Now, let me just say this about Bilal Muhammad, okay? Say what you will about Bilal. He is playing the social media game very well. Whether you like him or you don't like Muhammad, he is playing the game very, very well. He knows when to hop on social and say what he has to say. And he turned down the, he said he wasn't able to make the weight. And then he puts out, after Gilbert Burns is still waiting, fight Bilal at 175. They're talking about catch weights. Here's the meme by Burns, still waiting, which is a pretty funny meme. Works. Here we go. Nah, I'm good with 170 now. Bilal says he's good at 170 now. Gilbert Burns says, I want a title shot. I'm out of here. And now he's willing to save a card to fight another guy under dominance MMA. Bilal Muhammad, I just saw this right now. Let's see, he's on a scale. Let's see how much he's weighing. I mean, if you lop his head off, you take about 70 pounds off right there. What was that? 189? Oh. Okay. Okay, guys. So, 189. Bilal on the scale is 189. Bilal's a beast. Bilal's a tool. Bilal's annoying. I like Bilal even if KFC says he's a nerd or virgin. He could make the weight. Now that we know he's 189, definitely we're in range. So Bilal says he's 189, and now he's good for 170. My question to you, the chat, does this save the card? Is Bilal Muhammad versus Gilbert Burns enough to say, okay, 288's worth the pay-per-view buy? You do have Dober versus Frivola, which is my main event, really. Sterling versus Cejudo is very interesting. It is. I'm interested in that. I mean, as our main event, yeah, you know what? Henry Cejudo does it. Like, he's on that long layoff and Triple C and all the shit he's going to talk on the way up. I want to see if he could pull it off. So I'm in on that. But you do need a co-main event, and that's interesting. I just don't know if that's it, because God forbid something happens here. Like, who's going to be on standby? Is Sean O'Malley going to be on standby? Who's going to be the standby bantamweight? Is Merab going to be on standby? Because you can't have that main event fall apart, because even if it's Gilbert Burns versus Bilal Muhammad, if the main event falls apart and that is your new main event, that's not a pay-per-view anymore. That's how I judge my co-main events for pay-per-views. If the main event falls apart, is the co-main good enough to warrant $85 admission viewing price? And yes, Gilbert Burns versus Bilal is fun, but by no means is that a main event for a pay-per-view. So, question for the chat. Who would be the standby fighter for the main event? Because someone's got to be a standby, right? Is it Sean O'Malley? That'd be something else. Is it Merab? Friend versus friend? Like, are these guys going to be on standby over here? What's going on? Is maybe Peter Yan right back in the... I don't know. Is Bilal versus Gilbert Burns something that would make you pay $85 for a pay-per-view? Let me know in the chat. Put me in, coach. Basketballs, you have retired. I think Triple C gets it done in 2. Wow, man. Dude, that'd be something. That'd be something. I'm curious what the odds are going to be on that fight. I have a point. Mehlal can't save a card. Here's the thing. Like, Bilal actually had a really good fight against Sean Brady. That was actually a pretty fun fight. But typically, Bilal, if he gets his way, not a fun fight. You know, he's going to blank you. He's going to smother you. Now, with Gilbert Burns, I think he will be a good counter to the Bilal Muhammad style, and that should be a fire fight. That should be a very fun fight between the two, but not a pay-per-view main event. O'Malley said he will not be a backup fighter for that. I thought. That's what Great Yosh says. Probably won't be a backup fighter, but I tell you what, if they're getting on the scales and then you see Sean O'Malley step on that scale, the internet would explode. Now, is Sean O'Malley ready? What is he saying on his gaming streams? I have not followed Sean. He's been, I don't know, relatively quiet when it comes to MMA top stories. But that would be interesting. Colby versus either of them. Yeah, where's Colby in the mix? Well, he's going to be fighting Leon, I guess. It's 420 Eve. Don't forget to leave cookies and milk out for Snoop Dogg. Paid to make weight. Oh, yeah. Tomorrow's 420. Oh, yeah, it is. I guess I got to get high tomorrow on the gaming stream. Official odds. Pick'em. Cejudo. Oh, minus 110. Oh, my gosh. Oof. Oh, God. You would think that the logical person to bet on in that fight would be Aljo. Right? Am I crazy for saying this? Like, logically, the person that should win the fight in the main event of Sterling versus Cejudo, because listen, say what you will about Aljamain, this guy he's put on a spectacular run. Other than that knee, he redeemed himself against Jan. His wrestling is top notch right now. He has the striking to win by points. He has that. Cejudo is very undersized, but that might help Cejudo in this fight with the grappling. Very possible. When it comes to the power, you have to give the edge to Cejudo with a little bit of power. But for the most part, other than Marlon Moraes, Aljamain Sterling has been able to nullify power. And he should have the tools to beat Henry, especially coming off a long layoff. What's the age on these two? Henry 36, Aljo 33. Yeah, I mean, 5'4" versus 5'7", 67.5 inch reach against 71. Like, Aljo should be the favorite in this thing. But the fact that it's a pick'em makes it very interesting. There's a part of me that's probably going to put a bet on Henry. And listen, I'm not even trying to hold a grudge on Aljo. He doesn't come on the show anymore. Whatever. It is what it is. We still have his teammates and, love Law MMA. But I just think if Henry wins this, it just spices shit up again. It makes things interesting. Is Henry going to stick around? Like, what's Henry going to do next? He could sell a fight. Dude's cringe. He's the king of cringe. I get it, but it works. He can sell a fight. So I think better for me is Henry Cejudo winning this thing, getting on the mic and saying something here over Aljo. But I would imagine, like, a logical mind would think Aljo will win this fight. Let me know in the chat, though. Who do you think is going to win this fight? Who do you want to win? And who do you think is going to win? Who's the logical winner of the main event for UFC 288 in Newark, New Jersey? He is a brilliant fight. He's a brilliant fight guru. I tell you what, Henry Cejudo, yeah. But let me just say this, though. You might have two of the more intelligent fighters facing each other. Because have you heard Aljamain Sterling break down a fight? The dude is not stupid. He comes across as stupid with the cringe. But Aljamain Sterling breaking down a fight, extremely knowledgeable. And then he's taking in Raul Rosas Jr. You see him training him on social media. Aljo, listen, put aside bias, very smart guy. Cejudo as well. The way he breaks down fights, both guys are very, very good. Very good. Two of probably the most intelligent fighters going at it, which makes this matchup even more interesting. I think that's probably something you're not going to hear from analysts or breakdown. I mean, these guys, put aside their skills, their brains. You know, Aljo knew enough to stay down. Sorry. Had to take a shot there. Had to take a little shot on Aljo. No, but like you listen to Aljo talk, he knows what he's talking about. Cejudo probably be a striker fight. So then, okay, who would be... I mean, if it was just... If they nullify each other on the ground, I still have to give the edge. Unless the power, unless Henry drops Aljo. It's got to be tricky for Aljo to fight a guy like that, right? You're fighting a guy that's 5'4". Like, that can't be easy. Look at Makhachev and Volkanovski. Look at the problems Makhachev had with the smaller guy when it came to the grappling exchanges. You know, that could be something that happens here. The smaller guy in this situation with his skill set, we might see a very similar fight. This might be Makhachev versus Volk 2. You want to see them kiss.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Wow. Cejudo has the stand-up advantage. Somebody buying memberships again. Yo, hit the Aljo emojis here. What happened, Johnny? What happened? I like Aljo to win, but I think Henry will win. Okay, interesting. So you're rooting for Aljo, but you think Henry's going to win? That's interesting. All right, listen, fascinating fight. I don't know if this sells a lot of pay-per-views. We'll see how Henry sells this fight, but let me know in the chat, you know, final thoughts on... There we go. There he is. We've missed that guy for a while. There he is. There he is. Look at him go. Look at Aljo. Oh, my God.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Such an underused emoji. We need to make more use out of this. Well, that night, UFC 288... That emoji is going to be in full effect. It's going to be like the Kamaru Usman one. But we had to make the best of that one. Why am I in the fight reaction room? How dare I? Let's move this over here. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's move on because I've been babbling for an hour. And we have a bunch of stories here. So let's talk about Makhachev. What's next for Islam? Now, Benny says he is next for Islam Makhachev. You do have Volkanovski fighting... he's not going to get his rematch that he's yelling and screaming for because he's fighting Yair at 145. So if you look at the weight class, it seems like Islam... Actually, let me go over here. It seems like Islam is just going to fight the winner of Beneil Dariush and Charlie Olives. And do you guys think that Oliveira, the winner of this, should get the shot? Beneil Dariush reveals conditions UFC agreed to if Charles Oliveira pulls out again. Okay. Well, what's this? Interesting. Said the UFC gave him insurance. In a recent sit-down with the Schmo, Beneil Dariush revealed conversations he had. Okay, what do you say? They said they wanted to push the fight to June 10th, he said. By the way, I still don't have a contract, so I am not sure that is for sure, excuse me. But what they told me is I want to do June 10th, and at first I wasn't about it because what if this guy pulls out? Then I said a couple of things. Listen, if the guy pulls out again, I want a title shot. Oh, I see. It was that and basically a pay bump. Oh, wow. So if Charles Oliveira cannot make the walk in Canada, that fight falls off the card, and Beneil Dariush instantly fights Islam Makhachev for the title. Well, I hope that doesn't happen. Like, I kind of hope, at least I hope to see this fight against Charles. Good on Benny, though. You know, putting in some demands here. Now, granted, he's got Ali Abdelaziz to help him out with that. But good on Benny, holding strong. So, would you guys rather just see Beneil Dariush fight Islam Makhachev, just get the shot? Or would you like to see the fight against Charles? Do you care about Charles Islam too? I mean, Islam did work on Charles Oliveira. I would like to see the adjustments that Charles would make against Islam Makhachev. So I'm not completely removed from watching that rematch or wanting to see that rematch. But let me know your thoughts on that. Greatly underrated. Yeah, Dariush, I mean, he should get a lot more respect now, right? He really should. I mean, he's definitely earned respect. There's no doubt about it. Poirier needs to save the card. Yeah, Poirier is kind of like, Poirier's growing on me. I've been hard on Poirier, but he's kind of growing on me. He's just chilling. He's just like, yo, if the UFC pays me, I'll fucking fight. But I'm going to sit around and let things unfold. I'm going to wait for like red panty nights. If a title falls on my lap, yeah, we'll fight. You know, Poirier's kind of just calling the shots right now. And I kind of dig it. You know, like, we've seen Poirier in the mix doing his thing over there. You know, wait for the money. He's still a douche-faced nice guy. What, fake? He's got the fake charity. Well, when he fights Conor again, you know where I'm going. Charles and Benny, both the best. I'm doing good today. Deserve. I want to make that money. He's seen before. Pavlovich a plus 140. Okay, let's pivot. Let's keep the topics flowing here. Pavlovich versus Curtis Blaydes. So, all right, let me look at my bookie real quick. So you got him at a plus 140. I understand why Pavlovich is the underdog. I know a lot of people probably think I'm crazy, but I am leaning heavily towards Curtis Blaydes. I still have to see the face-off and, you know, all that fun stuff. And I played the game. Who did Pavlovich really beat? You know, I know the Black Beast is on there and whatever, but hold on a second. Let's go here. So 135 on my bookie. Okay. So plus money Pavlovich. Are you guys foaming at the mouth about that? I still have to wait. I don't think, like, it's kind of crazy how people are like, lock it up. When you look at who Blaydes lost to, they're the who's who. Like, they're the top G's, you know? Other than, he's only got 3 losses on his resume, but they're 2 of them are in Ngannou, right? The other one is Derek. He got clipped. If he didn't get clipped in that exchange over there, you know, if Blaydes had his way with his game plan, he's going to fucking grind the hell, hump the shit out of Lewis, and get the dub. Now, Pavlovich is basically saying that don't underestimate my wrestling. I got that as well. I'm a big, strong, scary Russian. You know, he's on a beautiful win streak as well. Let's go to Pavlovich here. But I think people are they're showing a little. I don't know. They're doing Curtis dirty, man. They're doing him dirty. Tai Tuivasa, Derek Lewis, Shamil, Maurice Green, Marcel Gome, Alistair Overeem was his last loss in 2018. Okay, so he enters the UFC and he loses to Alistair in 2018 and then goes on a little bit of a win streak. He's supposed to fight Bozer. He's supposed to fight Aspinall, Cyril Gane. 2 of those fights, I'm actually kind of itching. I would have loved to seen. But those fell through. And then he fights Shamil. Then fights Derek. And that Derek Lewis, I mean, damn, man, how the great had fallen. Tai Tuivasa, come on, we know what Tai does, you know. So, I mean, listen. Yeah, he fought some knockout artists. And he finished them. Impressive. He looked very scary in those fights. He looked like the way he moves forward so quickly and how he, like, these first round wins. How many first round wins does this guy have? Last 2 fights, it's first round. Last 3 fights, first round. Last 4 fights. Last 5 fights. Now, that is impressive, yes. But if you think about it, what happens if this shit goes to a second round? You look it through. And when was the last time he was in round number 2? What the hell? Look at all these first round wins. Oh, here's a unanimous decision. 2016. Here's another one. 2016 unanimous decision. Okay, I was missing these, but these aren't in the UFC. But still, okay. So he did go to a decision with a couple of fights here, but a lot of first round finishes. A lot of first round finishes. I tell you, man, just weather the storm, right? If you're Blaydes, you weather the storm. You've seen Blaydes' striking has gotten a lot better. He definitely is one of the best wrestlers in the weight class in a heavyweight division, if not the best. So, I mean, it's a fascinating heavyweight fight. I just don't know if the plus money is a lock for Pavlovich here. I you know how much I love that plus money. I'm a big fan of it. I need more evidence before I can jump there. I need more. Because if I were to bet on Pavlovich, it's just on a hunch. It's not on, you know, it's not like, oh, he beat Lewis and Lewis beat Blaydes. Therefore, Pavlovich should win this fight. That's a ridiculous way of looking at this. Blaydes got knocked out by the hardest hitting heavyweight of all time in Francis Ngannou. And then fucking the most knockouts in Derek Lewis. And I understand Pavlovich beat Lewis. But you can't say the guy that got no chin when he got hit by the hardest guys in the fucking earth. You know? Yeah, Pavlovich is he's pretty confident in his wrestling. I'm pretty positive that Curtis is going to put him on his back. I'm pretty positive. The chin thing, guys, this is heavyweights. He got knocked out by Lewis and Ngannou. That's it. To say that he's got no chin is I don't know.
Casual.
Now, could he get knocked out by Pavlovich? Of course. Pavlovich has all these first round finishes, of course. And even if he does get knocked out by Pavlovich, you can't say, oh, Curtis has no chin. This is heavyweight. Curtis has been popped in many of fights. Knocked out by two guys. Very interesting. Another fascinating main event here. I hate putting money on heavyweights because of the reason, you know, the ability of the flash knockout. You know, with heavyweight fights, it scares me to put money on it. So I'm going to ask you in the chat, like me personally, I think Blaydes is going to win. I do. Like, I think Blaydes is a good pick on this one. I have to get more information when I watch the weigh-ins and all that fun stuff. But right now, I'm on the Blaydes train. But let me know. You see that plus money. Are you salivating? Are you going to jump on the Ruski? Let me know in the chat. Who you got? I took the under 1.5. Oof. Boy, oh boy. Okay. Well, you better hope that Pavlovich wins then. Arlovsky lost his chin and found it again. Yeah, I mean, think about how many guys. Think about like Cody Garbrandt. Nah, he's got no chin. He's got no chin. All of a sudden, he's got chin again. It must have put like a metal plate in there. Let's see. Francis for the win. I could see Blaydes winning, but Pavlovich is going to clip him. Let's see. Did you get the strap from Luana? No, unfortunately, no. Why'd you unsubscribe and then resubscribe? What's that about? What did Brandon Schaub do? I actually spoke about it in the beginning of the show. He stole a joke. Go back. It's actually the first segment of the show. So go back and check it out. You get our opinions. By the way, there were people defending Brendan. I'm not one of them. In that situation, I'm not. He looked like he blatantly stole that joke. I got Sergey. Blaydes will win a decision. I'm kind of on the fence still, and that makes for a really good fight, right on the heavyweight. I am leaning towards Blaydes. I think Blaydes is going to get this one, but I am not looking past Pavlovich. I'm not. I just don't have enough evidence. I don't know. I don't have much to work with Pavlovich. This fight over here is going to tell us a lot. This fight's going to give me some more information. If he just runs through Blaydes, which I know Blaydes has been run through before, but if Pavlovich gets through this guy quick and like it's nothing, then you have to put respect on this guy's name because Blaydes is a top heavyweight for sure. Top. If Ngannou wasn't there, Blaydes would be the champ. Blaydes, if Ngannou was not in heavyweight, Curtis Blaydes would be your heavyweight champ. Now you got John Bones back in the mix. So fascinating fight. Good stuff, man. Great show, man. I always tune in. Just don't comment much. Keep up the great work. Thank you, DRNO. Thank you so much, man. Blaydes and Pavlovich is a hard bet. Blaydes will be one to make the fight boring. Yeah, I mean it's very possible. We've seen boring fights by Blaydes. He's not dumb. Double real naked choke. Curtis Blaydes' career been screwed. One guy who gets bad luck. Yeah, if you take Ngannou out of the picture, Blaydes is the champ. Now it's a little different. You got Johnny Bones in the mix. The return of Stipe. It's a little different. Okay. We move. We have to move swiftly and quickly. Let's see what other news stories we got here. Thank you guys for stopping by. If you'd like to drop a donation, Streamlabs is the way to do so. That makes this little purple bar go forward. So hit the Streamlabs donation link, Nightbot, or in the description. You can hit the super chat as well. You want to become a member, hit join to do the memberships. Okay, what else we got here? Did you see Israel Adesanya? There was a story about him and his ex. I was going to actually make that the story, but I decided against it and went with Brendan Schaub. No, but yeah, Israel Adesanya's ex, apparently, like, they had some bad words back and forth. It's not enough for me to give a fuck about, so people have trouble and you move on. Unless Izzy's ex wants to come on the show, then we'll make a whole segment on it. Adesanya blowing up phone, UFC headquarters asking for another fight. So he wants to get right back in the mix, Izzy, according to Bloody Elbow. Let's see what's going on here. This guy was already blowing Hunter and the boys up. Now, if you just stopped it right there, this guy was already blowing Hunter.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Jeff Molina would pop out of a bush and be like, let's go. Let's see. When's my next fight? When's my next fight? I want to fight again. I want to fight again. White said at the UFC Kansas post-fight press conference. I love about Israel Adesanya. Adesanya wants to fight nonstop, constantly, and wants to fight everybody. All right, so think about Izzy. Here's the thing. He got in the game late, right? Adesanya got in the game a little bit later. He's in his 30s. Like Volkanovski, they just want to get in there, get as many wins as they can in their prime before things start to fall apart, right? So you put a fight together. Who should Izzy fight? We did a segment on it. I would love Duplessis. Let's go. If you want to throw Bobby Knuckles in the mix, I know he lost 2 fights, but Bobby Knuckles is making a case. He's going out there saying, I promise you, in a third, I will take out Israel Adesanya. Whether you believe that or not, I mean, he did better in the second fight. He didn't get completely run over. You know, he actually looked a lot better, Robert. So you got to think he's slowly getting better. He also made mention, Whitaker, that Adesanya, you know, he had all the chances against Pereira, and look what happened. He redeemed himself. So I think Robert Whitaker's taking a little bit of what's it called? He's looking at Israel Adesanya. He's being inspired and saying, hey, I could do this to Izzy. You know? So you got Whitaker, you got Duplessis, and then you got the wild card. The wild card. In Sean Strickland. Which doesn't deserve the shot, but be a lot of fun. The lead up. Who would you want? Who deserves a shot at middleweight? Let me know. Duplessis, Whitaker, Strickland. Or if you got another curveball that you want to throw in there, go ahead, knock yourself out. But let me know in the chat. You want to see Vittori dance with him again? I don't think anyone wants to see that. That was terrible. Adesanya and Holloway were minus 140 both. KHAMZAT. You want to see KHAMZAT in there? Does KHAMZAT really deserve that shot? I mean, I would like to see it, of course. But, I mean, you got to fight. If you're going to tell me that a former champion and Alex Pereira needs to fight before he fights for the belts, and thank you, Sober Carl, for being a member for 19 months. Let's go, baby.
Wonderful.
And then you just give KHAMZAT the shot, that makes no sense at all. That literally makes no sense, right? I want to see Paulo meme his way to a title shot. I thought Costa was supposed to fight KHAMZAT. That was supposed to happen, but you know, listen, Paulo's being very strategic right now. And then earlier we were talking about him versus Blachowicz, and who knows who Paulo's going to fight. I definitely wouldn't put Paulo in the mix against Adesanya right now. I would think one more win would put him in play again, right? Strickland says Ninja Choke. Bobby Knuckles should get the next shot. KHAMZAT for me, says Sean. A lot of KHAMZATs. All right, but here's the deal. If you want KHAMZAT Chimaev, which I'm a big fan of KHAMZAT, if you want to see KHAMZAT Chimaev get that shot against Izzy, then you clearly want Pereira to fight for the 205 belt, right? Correct? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Because if you don't, then I don't understand how you can even talk about KHAMZAT, who's never fought well, he did fight at middleweight once, Mearshart, in the UFC at least. Does that give him the Mearshart fight? It gets him the title shot. Why do you think the UFC put the brakes on KHAMZAT's career? I think KHAMZAT put the brakes on his career. I think when he missed weight by a ton, I think it's a mixture of both, right? KHAMZAT missed all that weight with 9 pounds. He almost destroyed a card single-handedly. Like, he really royally screwed up with that whole situation there. So I think the UFC was like, okay, we need to make sure he could either, if he's going to fight at welterweight, we need to make sure he's going to make that. Now they know he's not going to make welterweight, so Or I don't know. Maybe Khamzat's like, I can't make welterweight, and the UFC's like, nope, you're going to 185. It's a shame, man. Khamzat was like so much fun, and now it's like this guy went from fighting every weekend to fighting every other year. It's a bummer. I hope the train comes back, man. I miss Khamzat because he was fun. He was fun. All right, let's see what else we got over here. Bum, ba, ba. Also, Izzy's got like some sort of documentary coming out. If you guys are interested in that, I'll watch it. I'll give it a shot. Ex-UFC fighter. Oh, here we go. You see this? Carl Robertson. Remember him? He was arrested in a $200K heist. Carl Robertson. I was like, what happened to that guy? Carl Robertson. Robertson, 32, is being charged with burglary, theft, criminal mischief, possession of a controlled dangerous substance, of several weapons, offense. What the fuck? They don't pay the fighters enough. They don't pay the fighters enough over here. They got to be robbing banks and shit. You got to be paying the fighters more. You got to pay, or they're going to just rob banks. CTE. What do you think's the reason for this? That's all I got to say about that. Thank you. Let's see. Curtis Blaydes plans to sit back if he wins at UFC Fight Night 222. I'll wait for a title shot. Dana White loves that. Oh, look. Delicious. Dana White loves when you wait, right? Now, I don't blame Curtis. Like, I feel like if he wins against Pavlovich, the hype train, he's there, right? But you know what happens when you wait. I know what I'm working towards. Blaydes told MMA Junkie and other reporters at a pre-fight news conference. If I win, I'll wait. I'll wait for a title shot. I don't care who it is. If it's John Jones, if it's Stipe Miocic, if they bring in Brock Lesnar, I'll wait with Brock. So Curtis is going to beat Pavlovich and just chill. Is that a smart move by Curtis Blaydes? I understand why he wants to wait. Whoa, Michelle Obama crashed in the show. What the fuck are you doing here? Why did they just pop to a Michelle Obama? Anyway, do you think that's a wise move by Curtis Blaydes? I understand why he should, considering he's done enough to earn a title shot. But remember who the boss is. Dana White. He don't like that. He's not a fan of that. He wants people that are active and all that fun stuff. Lee Murray would be proud. Blaydes should wait. Ice Viking, that would be fire. What the fuck? Blaydes will not beat Pavlovich. Laugh my fucking ass off. I wish I could just leave that comment on screen all the way up until... Why? All right, why do you think that's so funny? Why do you think... I mean, I know we just talked about it ad nauseum, but I do want to know, why do you think that's like the funniest thing in the world? Because one beat the Black Beast and the other one lost. Is that it? By what evidence do we have? He beats people very quick. I mean, we don't have that evidence. Explain Colby. Colby has shit on Dana. Colby had the whole Masvidal thing. He dropped the charges. Explanation done. Breaking is he didn't get tested by USADA before this last fight, Alex fight. Is that true? Michelle Obama is in reality a manager. Did you not see what he did to Ty in 1 minute? Are you telling me? I love Tai Tuivasa. I think he's so much fun. You tell me this man's a champion? You telling me this man has the ability? Tai Tuivasa. I know he beat Derek Lewis. A Derek Lewis that is a shell of his former self. That Derek Lewis. A Derek Lewis that when he gets in the cage now, he's already lost the fight. But you're telling me Tai Tuivasa. Let me get this straight. You're telling me, Mystical Moss, that Tai Tuivasa is enough evidence to say that Pavlovich is going to run over Curtis Blaydes. That's what you go. Tai Tuivasa. Young fun, drinking at a shoe. Tai Tuivasa. Does Tai beat Aspinall? The answer is no. Does he beat Stipe? The answer is no. Does he beat Cyril Gane? The answer is no. Because he got fucking knocked the fuck out by Cyril Gane. Does he beat John Jones? The answer is no. Does he beat Curtis Blaydes? The answer is no. You mean to tell me that Tai Tuivasa is the evidence? Now, I'm not saying it's impossible that Pavlovich could win because it's heavyweight, you got power, scary Russian guy, I get it. But to laugh at the thought of Curtis Blaydes losing a fight to Pavlovich because of the Tai Tuivasa fight. Interesting. Very interesting. We move on. We talked about Curtis Blaydes. Talked about Pavlovich. Paulo Costa. Oh, one last thing I do want to talk about here. Did you guys listen to Bobby Green? Bobby Green's media scrum today. This guy, Bobby Green, who is changing his name to King. And then reporters gave him ideas of like nicknames, goofy ass reporters. It was just a really cringy media scrum. Anyway, Bobby Green goes on there. He's a likable guy, Bobby, man. He's fun to watch fight. When he gets on the mic, he's like super aloof, and he's constantly talking like, you know, a gangster and shit like that or whatever. But he's changing his name to King, and he spoke about Nate Diaz, who they're buds, right? They train together. He's saying how he's going to knock out Jake Paul 6 rounds. Now, when we were putting the poll out there, and I was telling people that Jake Paul should beat Nate Diaz and all this stuff, right? You know, and I still am leaning towards Jake Paul in that fight. I tell you what, Bobby Green, he kind of made a good argument for Nate. The way he backed up Nate and says there's a very good possibility that Nate could knock out Jake Paul, which sounds ridiculous if any of us say this. But when you have a guy that's in the trenches with Nate and have seen him box behind the scenes and knows what he's capable of, knows actual real boxers give credit to Nate's boxing skills, maybe there is a chance. Maybe. Now, I see Sonosi saying Jake's going to pummel him, and that's where I'm leaning. But when you listen to the media scrum, Bobby made some good points. The problem is Bobby Green is changing his name to King. So then he lost me there. But still, he did make some good arguments. Drop the Nate Diaz in the chats. What do you guys think? Do you think, like, I know we did the poll, and a lot of people are picking Nate in our community. We're an MMA community, so of course we're going to lean towards Nate Diaz. I'm going to be rooting heavy for Nate Diaz. I want Nate Diaz to win this fight, and it'd be hilarious if he knocks out Jake Paul. It's not as funny anymore because Jake already lost, but he's never really been knocked out, right? So if Nate goes in there and knocks out Jake Paul, dude, that would be amazing. But let me know in the chat, like, what do you think? Is Bobby on to something here? Nate was taking too many punches. And by the way, so Bobby Green made it seem like he was going to retire. He's just retiring his name. He's not going anywhere. So he's staying in the game. He's fighting Jared Gordon, which is a very good fight coming up. And looking at this card, I mean, it's not bad. Not bad fight night. You have Bobby Green versus Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon actually put up a good show against Paddy Pimblett. It's going to be interesting to see how he bounces back in this one. UFC doing him a favor. I mean, matchup's tough. Bobby's a tough guy, but UFC is actually bumping him up after that win. Tavares versus Silva. Okay, like Brad Tavares. Talk about, like, he's been kind of a letdown. 2 wins out of his last 5. Like, there was a lot of hype with Brad and not so much anymore. And then Bruno Silva was another guy. They got 2 hyped guys. Silva's now on a 2-fight win streak. Like, this guy was actually legit. He got submitted by Mearshart, lost to Alex Pereira. Before that, defeated Jordan Wright, Andrew Sanchez. Now I'm looking at Wellington Turman. Like, maybe this guy isn't that good. So, a co-main event, maybe should be a decent scrap, but I don't know. Maybe we should flip the Gordon Green fight. Maybe. Anyway, this card's happening this weekend, and it's going to roll into Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia, who it seems like they're agreeing on winner takes all. I don't know if they signed that contract yet, but it seems like that's what they're talking about. So Saturday's stream is going to be a double dip of UFC rolling into boxing. I want to know in the chat, before we get out of here, I want to know in the chat, are you guys interested in Tank? You guys interested in this fight? Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Two young, talented fighters going at it in boxing. Are you guys in? Are you fired up for this thing? Because listen, we're not the boxing holes, but you have to admit there's a lot of juice for this card, or this fight. Not card. What am I talking about? What, $100 for one fight? All right, so Lou, Niall, the great Yash. All right. I think Nate jabs the shit out of Jake, then starts putting the 1-2 combos. I could see Nate getting it done and staying out of Jake's reach as he throws over him. I hope you're right, man. I don't see it, but I hope you're right. There's a reason why I don't bet on novelty boxing anymore. I stopped because I am off. Like, I am not mystical with that shit. I have no idea, man. I don't know anything anymore. I'm still shocked that Anderson Silva lost to Jake Paul. It still rubs me the wrong way. I don't understand it. But people say dive, fake, fixed. You know Nate's not fixing that shit. I want to see Garcia win, but I don't think he will. I am praying to the boxing gods that Gervonta Davis loses to Ryan Garcia. I want to see Ryan Garcia win so bad. Do it for the twinks out there. I want to see Ryan Garcia win. I do. Tank is just, I don't know, man, with this kid. I don't know. I'm rooting for Ryan, but I think Tank, Garcia going to catch Tank watch. I hope you're right. All right, so it seems like people are interested in that. Gervonta dick sucking lips, Davis. If Gervonta has dick sucking lips, what does Mark Harley have? Let's end it on that. Guys, if you missed the beginning of the show, if you missed the Schaub thievery of jokes, run it back over there. Check it out for yourself. Drop in the comments section down below what you think about the topics, because I didn't get everyone's comments over there. I want to get your thoughts. So if you have any thoughts and stuff that we missed during the show, drop in the comments section down below. I want to see who's still up in this bitch. Comment section down below. Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you for stopping by. Give me your picks for Saturday as well. Give me your picks for Nate versus Jake or Gervonta versus Garcia. All that fun stuff. If you have any thoughts on the topics, let me know in the chat. And don't be an a-hole. Be an MMA hole.
Get out! Get out now! Get out now! Stupid little cuck bitch. You fucking ugly little cunt!